Just to get a sense for the audience, who's a developer here? Okay, so everyone. And then is anybody like building communities or like trying to engage people with, okay. Okay, so I think this would roughly be useful, and we'll just I'm trying to cater it for the audience. The title is obviously not the same as Vibe Code Games with Rosebud AI, as you notice. It's like build games and learn how not to get replaced by AI. The reason it's this is because I didn't want to just take the whole talk to overtly shill Rosebud. Obviously, I'm building it, so I want people to use it, but kind of show through a case study why I think it's useful for building community via a particular experiment I've been doing in terms of hosting family hackathons. And I think the useful thing here is that if you can get kids to even build games with this, I think you can get anybody to build games with this. However, with the caveat that kids actually are more creative. So it's not like they're actually the worst, but it's a really good kind of extreme case. So that's why, build games and learn how to not get, learn how not to get replaced by AI. Might have been able to word that more smoothly. But okay, so the reason I got interested in the particular family hackathon case study was, one, I have a 21-month-old, but two, I feel like the way that we talk about AI and the problems with AI is mostly about like this consumption trap, right? It's so easy if we proliferate the creation of like assets, media, et cetera, to just be consuming mindlessly, wireheading, et cetera. But on the other hand, like we as builders, as developers are so excited because we're super empowered by it. Like whether it's Claude Code, Codex, Gemini, whatever, like we are building more than ever, 10x, 100x kind of engineers. And so like how do you bring that to the masses and how do you kind of like allow other people to feel this joy? And so that was kind of like the motivation for the problem. And so the other thing I think as developers that we can relate to is that games are the gateway, right? Like in the sense of like a lot of people start building, they start coding because of games. And so again, now the tools are more powerful and the fact that like natural language is like the real kind of interface, you can actually get more people interested in building. And that's really the right abstraction. It's not like the syntax of a particular language, but like how do you get people to learn this loop of building through just like getting them interested in like making games? Like that's the most naturally fun of all. So just then as a segue, like quick introduction, Rosebud is a platform where anybody can build games by just describing them. So it is, vibe coding platform, but really I think vibe coding now has a bad rep. What we're really building underneath the hood is agentic coding, or coding agents specifically for games. So they'll help you build assets alongside just like generating code. It's browser-based, so it does 3D, 2D. It'll do things like help you build up multiplayer, et cetera. And it's easy enough so that like non-technical creatives or just non-technical users in general can also really whip something up in maybe a few minutes, but then actually they end up being addicted and then end up building for like months on end. So here's a couple of stats about Rosebud. I have been building this company for around 7 years, but this version of the product has existed since 3 years ago. So basically ever since GPT-4, I sort of realized that this is the direction that coding agents are getting into. So about 2 million games built on the platform. And as you can see, the really wide diversity of games, which is also why I wanted to like kind of get more people building. And so oh good, I'm actually doing pretty well on time. So this is, okay, I don't think the audio is playing, but this is a quick kind of fly through of how to use Rosebud. So you would either start from scratch. So in this case, I'm trying to build a kind of farming simulation clone. This is something that was popular on Roblox, so it's like, why not? We can build it ourselves. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just a little bit of music, which actually we commission from real artists, but also, we can generate music too. But that's not the main thing. So here, what I'm showing is like really fast is like you can chat with the agent. There's like an asset tab there, and then afterwards you could just one-click publish. So especially if somebody is not technical, you don't have to like set up, publishing to Vercel or something like that. It's just like, it's really just one click. And part of like, if you're interested in building communities, that's nice about this is there is, what you didn't really see there because it was too quick, is there's this forking button. So once you publish something, you can default allow people to remix, fork your games. And it works well with multiplayer too, which usually would be difficult because, if you're forking something that's multiplayer, how does that work? But we've set it up so it works well. So all the things that you would expect it to do. And so if you're building community and you want them to kind of like riff on memes at the speed of how like social media and memes evolve, this is something that you can check out. Okay, so I guess now is kind of my opportunity just to show off some things that have been built by the community. So these things if you're bringing in some of your own assets, it really dictates how the game feels. So like AAA games, I think look really good. In addition to having good performance, it's just having really great assets. So I would say this is like pretty simple, but at least you can see the mechanics of how things work. Horror games are a little bit more easy to make look cool because like the lighting just makes things look, the vibes are there, but it doesn't have to be like super crazy renders. So this is why horror is like a nice genre on Rosebud, also made by other community members. Our Discord is linked on the website, which is rosebud.ai, and there will be a QR code. But one of the nice things is it's a very expansive Discord, and so people like to share their games. And this is something where it's an example of like an artist, right? Like they were a sound designer, couldn't code before, but now they're like, I can bring in my own music, I can bring my own artwork, and they're telling, it's about storytelling.
The evening draws
it's really
near.
Loud, sorry. Oh, thank you. And so like,
Bedtime looms
good
ever
storytelling is
closer.
really, gotten by people who can tell stories, so.
It is waiting.
Mean they have to be technical. Okay, so another horror genre. I think this person ported in assets that they bought somewhere else. That also works. Like we don't need everything to be AI generated. It can be made by real people. It can be AI generated. The whole goal is just to enable more people to build cool stuff, especially games. Okay, usual 2D stuff. Now that the agents are getting so much better, it's also just really crazy to see. Because we're doing internal experiments. We're porting over just like popular genres of games, and you can get agents running for days, and you're able to make some really cool stuff that way too. So, okay, so I originally mentioned I had an experiment with family hackathons. So the thing that I guess I wanted to kind of share here was like, what was the outcome? And the outcome was like, it was just like I've hosted these events where usually they're 2-hour hackathons. You got kids and their parents coming, which, I mean, honestly, in SF, because I'm based here, there's no events for families, so it's actually huge. It's an interesting way to actually get founders to come out who have families on the weekends. So yeah, and the thing that was really cool is that I just saw kids building multiplayer 3D games like really quickly, like half an hour, and they were able to share it. And I feel like, especially since they're so much younger, their expectation of how things should work is just, it's not very, kind of hindered by previous experience. So here it's like, oh, of course, that's like, I just talked to a machine, it's like build stuff for me. And so they really get the hang of it very quickly. And so the point that I wanted to make, and maybe this is something that kind of encourages you to test it with your communities, if you're building communities, et cetera, is like sandboxes better than textbooks. It's really painful to learn notation, but if you want to learn by building, this is the quick way to do it, which is why this is how you avoid getting automated by AI yourself, so you can learn faster. A little bit more about like my experience on like what am I teaching if you do want to try it with kids or a broader audience. And then that's it, just like try Rosebud. I think I am, okay, great. There is a code, which is, I might have given the wrong slide, so ignore, okay, if this doesn't work, this is at least an invite to Rosebud, and I can see if I can increase it, because it's not science civ, it's actually /near, so my apologies for that. Maybe this can be refreshed, and that would help. But let me know, you can just, I'll be around if people, if this code doesn't work. And yeah, that's basically it. Oh yeah, if you're interested in helping, this is my personal email, alicia@rosebud.ai. And if you're interested in collaborating or kind of brainstorming how to use, not just Rosebud, but in general, like kind of engage your community in building stuff, then I'm here to chat. No, that's it. Thank you.